Good morning. Testing, testing. All right, we're good. All right, let's jump right to the stuff. Okay. So, unfortunately, the move I was looking for all last week happened overnight. This move. Ugh, and you even get the hourly lower high, too. That's so gross, dude. Hey, 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 hey. This makes trading tough when this happens. But yeah, this was the move I was looking for. And honestly, this little lower high too. It's a good double top here. This is a break of this range, a back test. Quick little burrito play. 4 hour time frame, a little bit tougher to see. But yeah, very hard to get into this trade. Unless you're just like buying. But it took me, it definitely got the best of me, that's for sure. I'm glad I didn't hold any late longs into the following day because I almost did fall for that. So thank God I didn't do that. Um, but yeah, so we really have to break this down now, eh? This is clearly the range here, keeping it simple. We can go to the monthly charts and see that we are not consolidating really. On the NASDAQ here, there was a little break with no follow through. There was a consolidation with no follow through with a big buyer's wick. So could he head back down there? Absolutely, but it's not the most likely scenario at this point. We do have this weekly lower high, and you could see that the weekly bounce did bounce over 60%. So again, the most likely scenario is a lower high, but you do want to look at the volume of this week. And on the daily, we had a nice little stair step here. We got above all these big levels here. We got above this structure here. We got above this big time level right here. On the low volume days, look at the volume on these days, like they just were non-existent. And then you have the pullback already. You have more volume this morning than you do on the both the days prior. So I would have to say that this trumps that, and bears have an opportunity today. But how do you get in, and what do you have to watch out for? So with the indices here, first thing you want to watch out for is the rotation in the market, right? Um, if everything is at the lows, that's usually a pretty bad sign for bulls. And obviously, the market wants QQQ leading the way down with also semis weak. But daily consolidation is basically started. At least a break of, again, the volume isn't really here, but you got to use something, right? So the break of that low is happening here. So it's probably a gap down at the moment on QQQ. And again, going back to this range here. There's two ranges. There's a range here and there's a range here. You can see the volume on this range is much more um, visible, as you can see how much further this one points out. So this tells me that there was more volume traded here than it was here. So I guess because of that, you want to give that a little bit more seniority. And you see that we have the break here, and it's really just a clean break. There's a little doji here, but this is just blowing right through it. Um, you can see the overall volume here wasn't impressive. It was just there was a lot of shares traded there. And then you have this little back test here of this level, which is expected. I mean, I'm not that shocked by this, but once again, this happened at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, where us retail traders cannot trade. So, I mean, as retail traders, we're paid to react, not um, react and put ourselves in the best scenarios possible. I mean, obviously, investing is a little bit different, but being able just to like guess that the market's going to pull back overnight on Sunday night, like after the Friday was like a nice bullish close at the top of the range, and just be like to buy there and be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna buy and hope that it goes down, it doesn't gap up. That's not really what we do, right? So I guess you could have started scaling in, but we'll see. Part of me wanted to scale in, but once it broke this weekly level and started and set the weekly high or low, then I just didn't like how much distance was between the next resistance level, which was up at like, you know, you can see it, 25,750. So now what? Well, you have the gap down open on the indices. You have this lower high here, and you want the lower low, which would then essentially give you not only the break of the prior day lows, but you also have the hourly trend change, which will give you a lot of confidence as a bear going forward, which to then you might look at some levels of interest here. And again, one of the issues is that like this level is here. How do you just avoid that level? And this is just getting squeezed down here. Yuck. I mean, the next logical, I do still think that this level right here, this valley area high, is important. As you can see, you had the higher low here, higher high into a big pullback. That's just a gross play. Um, and then you have this little battle here. Couldn't quite get to the valley area low. Huge wicks up, and then you have this little battle right at the POC. So I still think that these levels are important and probably take seniority over this little level here. So I do think that you could potentially have a target of right around here and here. But again, you have to be careful of first hourly oversold conditions. Does the first hourly oversold conditions mark the daily high or low? But as you see, this is kind of sickening. It looks like a lot of people jumped on. What did the market open at 7? So yeah, it looks like a lot of people just jumped short right on it, right on the open. I read at 7, which makes sense, I guess. Started to pile in. But I mean, who the heck trades at 7? My lord. I'm sure SPY is similar. Yeah. Back test right off of that range. I mean, it doesn't get more clean than that. Doesn't get more clean than that. Back test. You get this doji, and then you see people start to pile in here. And you could even make a case that this is like a deviation play, right? So if you watch, it's a reverse deviation play. So you have this range here. There's the bottom of the range. You get back, you close above it, get it, and then you fail. So there's your deviation. You can either buy it to close, or you can. And this is the 30-minute chart. Again, like it's still the same thing. It's just a little bit more noticeable on like the 15-minute chart where you get over it, you fail, there's your back test, stop over the high, and you look to go lower. So it's like getting into the range and then failing. That's a nice little reverse deviation play. Essentially, then it turns into a um, it's either buying the break of support back to support, or it's the retest. Look at the indices here. Let's mark out our levels. A huge gap down. Oh, that's so gross, man. Like, I understand that the market doesn't have to do anything that we want it to do, but I mean, come on now, give retail a chance here. My lord. I mean, the indices broke this level here. Huge level. Monthly candle has a big wick after monthly consolidation started. Weekly higher low is set. And if you were looking for a short, now you're kind of in a very weird spot. Because daily consolidation started, and you don't quite have the hourly lower high, lower low here. So it looks like, price needs that. And you can already see, like, on the 15-minute time frame, there was a break and retest. So here's your break, there's your consolidation, there's your retest, and then there you go. Of the regular trading hours low from Friday. And now we're just looking for a daily high or low. But also we have to be worried that this can pull back more than we think, because, again, this could be the weekly lower high being set. We would need some sort of 4-hour trend change for starters. But you can see how it gets so it's getting a little bit confusing. It's getting a little bit confusing now. So you had two things already happen pre-market. You had the bear break of prior day low. You had the back test of the regular trading hours low. So the market is telling us that the regular trading hours low is an important level. That's what we know. And that's really about it right now. Again, we talked about the Valley Area High. We talked about the POC. And again, the bulls will feel a lot more comfortable if they get the hourly lower high, lower low. Even though on the NASDAQ, this does kind of give you that hourly lower high, lower low already. So that kind of confuses me as well. Because any trader would be like, oh, well, it didn't happen on the QQQ, but it happened on the NASDAQ, so you should have been all over it. And it's like, the confidence is not necessarily, complete or concrete when it's just the futures chart, not the indices doing those things. So let's check out SPY. Man, I tell you, I feel like the market is so good at doing this. Like, I hate that I feel like I'm a little bit of a beat behind where I'm looking short. And yes, I'm looking short on days where there might not be that much might not be that much volume, which was the case. But there's been times in the past where the day after Thanksgiving has been an absolute bloodbath. So it's happened before. Um, Again, I have this weekly level. It was the level that the daily higher lower set, but again, I don't know how much I love just banking on a random level like that. That usually gets me into a ton of trouble. But I mean, on this name, there's definitely something here, right? Like, I mean, there's a high there, there's a high there, there's a high there. So this is just again, a level of interest. And that's what this means. It's a level of interest. So whoever was long here or short here got stopped out, cleared the order book, and now this would be a spot where potentially you would see bulls show up here. Um, it would line up with hourly oversold conditions, so you might see some sort of battle there. So eyes on SPY when it gets to around that 675 level. I think that's an important level. And if the daily high or low is marked with hourly oversold conditions, then that would be healthy. That'd be healthy. Let's take a look at XLF, see where it is, if it's going down or if there's some rotation happening somewhere. XLF is gapping down, so no rotation there quite yet. We have XLV right below all-time highs. Again, at the lows here. Not as weak, but definitely not something that indicates rotation. And then sorry about that. IWM, gap down. Bitcoin is weak. And then the semiconductors. Where is the semis? Where the hell can I find the semis? Oh, there it is right here. So we'll check that one out. Nope, gap down. So weakness everywhere. Hmm. All right, is there any news for this morning? December 1st, Monday, 9:45, 10 a.m. PMI. And that's really it for important stuff. So I did a lot of work over the weekend, but a lot of my plays are somewhat bullish, looking for pullbacks on the daily. I do think that AMD, though, does potentially give us a good short. As it is, again, rejecting the 50-day. It did hold support here on a double bottom, but again, the volume was super low. And even though technically you do have this little daily higher low, higher high, double bottom bull break here, this is basically a bull break with no follow through. Couldn't get over the hourly no change level, which was this guy right here, which is a good sign for bears. And you could see that we are just kind of shooting down here. Um, so I think that there is a big node right here, right at 205, 206 level. Um, that would be hourly oversold ish. I do think that price could also come back down here and potentially fill the gap if the market stays super weak way down here. And you do kind of have, it's not perfect, but you kind of have some sort of like head and shoulders type deal here, potentially. Um, just would need to look for an hourly lower high. And again, if you have your target here, you can just kind of get a good gauge of when you want to get into the trade. It's a little bit difficult because like you don't really want price getting back into the prior day's range, but you also have to understand that unless the price is pushed a little bit further down, there's just not enough. I just don't think there's enough room here um, to assume that price will just bounce off of this level. And a good way to figure that one out is just like looking what the hourly ATR is. It's about $1.80. Okay. So if the daily, if the hourly, excuse me, the hourly ATR is about $1.80 to $2. Okay, let's say from the low here. This is 130. So you're looking for another 50 cents here. So this could end up setting up to be like what we saw before, which is like it gets over it, it fails, it back tests, and then it goes down. So that could be something that I look for instead of just scaling in. Because the issue is that if price starts to move over this level here, like I understand the pattern, right? But you also have to understand the actual price action. And this pattern isn't even like really that smooth, in my opinion. It's kind of junky. But even with that being said, if this is the high and you want to, understand the bounce here from the low, let's say it's $2. Like, yeah, it could very easily bounce to a bear flag level, which makes sense to me. And that's only using the hourly ATR. So it's like, that doesn't mean that it can only go up that much, but I really wouldn't want to see price go that much further above that level, um, and get more follow through. Because the more, if it gets to 50%, right? Like if it gets to a 50% bounce, then the most likely scenario isn't a lower low. It's basically a tightening up type of thing. And if it gets above that, even more so. Even though some people say that if it gets to the golden pocket, exactly, like if it gets rejected from the golden pocket exactly, it's actually quite a strong move. So it's weird, that nuance. But yeah, so I would say that I wouldn't want this thing to get over 212.30 ish. Sorry, 215.30 ish. My apologies. So again, what's the trade setup here? The trade setup is that we're looking for a 2-day. Looking for a 2-day lower high. Okay. Oops. And we're using the hourly chart for a lower high entry with an idea that this could be some sort of very, very wonky head and shoulders. And also, we understand that the daily consolidation has been started as prior day low has been broken. Okay. And to get full confidence, we would need to see the hourly lower high, lower low. And that would be it. Now, the real question is, where do we put our stop? That's a good question. Technically speaking, it should go up here. But that would make more sense, in my opinion, if the bulls held the regular trading hours low and then it bounced. Then you say, okay, this is more of a head and shoulder, looking for a lower high, putting myself above the high. going further down. That makes more sense. Because the bears got so much follow through already in pre-market, I do think that has to change. And I think that this level right here might be more um, beneficial to use, which is going to be the pre-market high instead of the overnight high. So there's two ways that we want to play this name, in my opinion, because this is what it comes down to, and this is what I've been really trying to work on, is being very precise. So I could wait for the hourly to get up to here. Wait for a wick and get in and put myself above the high. And the reason I say I'm waiting for a wick is because I want to try to avoid zooming into the 5 minute time frame because it always just throws me off and screws me up. So I still think I could make sniper trades not zooming into the 5 minute time frame. Um, I think the other way I can get in is if I see a break of this level, some complications at the bear flag zone, maybe some sideways action, a bear break back below. That could be a buy or the back test there with a stop above that level with a little bit of a buffer. That'd be the play. Because if not, then what has to happen is I have to go to the 5 minute time frame. And because it's the morning and it could just shoot up, it'd probably have to be the 2 minute time frame. And if the hourly got up to this level here, I would have to look for a bunch of different things. I could look for the 2 minute trend change. But then I could just bounce off of this and then do this and then do this. Like it just there's so much noise. Um, I could look for like some sort of like rising wedge type deal. And yet, when they're perfect, they help. And maybe I'll take a look. Maybe I'll take a look if the hourly is just not giving me what I want. Maybe I'll take a look. But I know I definitely struggle when I try to zoom in um, to the 5 minute, 2 minute time frame because it ends up just being too much information to process. So you're going to keep an eye on this one for sure. I don't think I'm going to be looking long much today. Um, maybe if we see like a double bottom with like a huge, huge move, or if we like go right down to hourly oversold, something like that. And the reason I say that is because you have that weekly overhang, you have daily consolidation after you had the monthly consolidation start, you lost a daily downtrend, um, and it's the first day of consolidation. So it's like the Bears probably want to at least rest one day. You would think. I mean, the market is not that hyped right now. Like 2 of the 3 days from the move up was during Thanksgiving, and the volume was absolutely a joke. So now the real volume is coming in the first trading day back, and the Bears have shown up. I think that's meaningful. I really do. But we were looking at metals here. Gold is up again. Again, gold looking really nice. Had this little break and retest of the structure here. So it held here, broke down, bull move up. There's your retest. You still stay in this trade because technically the retest, the stop should be under here. Gets it right there. Inverse head and shoulders, bull break, sideways, up, back test, up. I mean, it's not the cleanest, and it gets a little scary, but it's really respecting the technical levels. And we definitely could have gone long here on gold for sure. And then silver is just going bananas again too. Copper is slightly up. Platinum. So yeah, I mean, kind of a runaway train here on silver. I was looking at CDE for potential laggard play, but I just don't know how to play a name like this. I mean, it's gapping up, but I don't really want to be a gap and go buyer on a name that I've never traded before. Um, and it's extended. So yeah, I don't know about that. Some of these names are gapping right to resistance. UNH had news about some selling something to sell its South American unit. It should surprise them. It's not up. Um, I mean, this is a name that I am looking. I was looking for a potential long here. Well, actually, no, no. We're not looking for monthly high or low here, are we? I mean, the monthly chart sucks, but this is definitely sideways, bear break, big move, nice oval. There's your back test of this range, and now a little bit of a move up. And you can see it does have this like daily head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders look to it. And the monthly chart. I mean, the truth about the monthly chart is that, like, price action wise, if you're not talking about moving averages, the levels up here. It's the first level to be even like really somewhat weary of. There was just no price action on the way down here, which again scares me because this seems a little bit too like you get the move up. There's your stop of these people. So aggressive bulls got stopped out, but then they just V shape it up. So you just got to keep an eye on this. Got to keep an eye on the pullback, see if the volume is increasing on the way down. If not, you can potentially get in. But it looks like bull stepped up in a. I don't want to say in a big way because at no point, like on this candle, the volume is just not there. So like I'm not seeing bull step up in a big way here. This is protection of the value area high. Sorry, the POC inside bar. Bulls take it here, but there's not a lot of volume, so not a lot of confidence in this. But and then we kind of like leak up for 2 days. So I don't know how confident I am in that. The news probably should help, but I don't know. Clearly, there's no reaction to it, so I'm going to say that there is not that much of a big deal. Um, was looking at Taylor got killed the other day. IONQ. So IONQ is down 2.5%. Again, holding up slightly better than the rest of the market here, which is something that I like to see. We'll see if that that strength holds up, even though it's strength in weakness. Um, so we have the same thing here. We have this like daily inverse head and shoulders type look. We have this tightening range here, and it looks much better on the weekly because you can see that we traded sideways in this range here. It had this big move up. Look at the volume on this candle. Very nice. And then we come back down, come back down. The volume is obviously high on the way down here. So it's not surprised that we went pretty deep inside of the structure here. I mean, they definitely got a lot of orders here so far, I would say. But once again, until it breaks the lows here, it's fine. We do have this weekly bounce on its way. You don't have, in order to get like a better bounce on the weekly, you're going to need a daily trend change. And also you can see that on the monthly here, it is sort of a monthly higher low scout. The daily probably did get oversold on this candle here. And you have to like this, right? Like, so this is the difference between this name and UNH is that we had this big move down. You had this this hammer candle, right? In a range of a demand range. Okay, so you're like, okay, that's bulls buying the dip for sure. And then you have this candle here, which is the go signal, right? And what happens at that go signal? Look at the volume. Big difference from UNH. So you have this saying, okay, bulls are interested. Then you have some sort, a little bit teetering off because of the volume and the holiday. You have this pattern here. And because, we're at demand, because we're looking for the monthly high or low, because we did get this reaction from the first entry signal, I do think that there's going to be interest on a pullback here. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the hourly oversold conditions, which is now moving, which is now here. Maybe it moves down. It's going to be right around the bull flag level. Oh, I have to adjust this now too. So it's going to be right around the bull flag level. And it's going to move slightly. And again, this one gets tough because, you can definitely get in here and put your stop way down there, but that's a lot of risk. So you can look to scale in here, start scaling in here with your risk being at the low, which, I mean, the reason I freaking hate that is because it could break here. It could break here. Hit the low of the range and then bounce. So I just hate my stop being right there. I just rather it not be there. So because of that, I'm probably going to be attempting a daily high or low somewhere around here. And again, the best way to set a daily high or low is going to be, you're going to want to see an hourly downtrend, and then you're going to want to see, that change. And if that's with, once again, a break and retest, using a deviation play, buying a break, playing support, I don't think it's going to be a support play though, because I need to see some sort of reaction from some of these levels. Knowing the hourly is going to be the key for me. But hourly oversold, daily higher low, hourly oversold are really good spots to start looking long. And once again, I want to try to avoid jumping into the 5 minute time frame and looking for clues, because that's what always throws me off. There's too many fake outs. There's too many fake outs. It's never that clean. Like you could say, oh, I'm looking for the trend change, yada yada. But even the trend change just gets you the hourly bounce going. Like you're almost better just waiting for that hourly bullish engulfing candle, or the hourly double bottom, um, or maybe some sort of tight range where you get the deviation break and then you get back in and you buy, stuff like that. So I just have to get better at it. Um, but I can't predict the future. And if I don't see it, I just have to be okay with not taking it. And then maybe I make an audible, right? So let's say I don't get in on this pullback because nothing really shaped up nicely. So, I play the break and retest off of this level, find an hourly structure level that I can put my stop under, and go on from there. So, yeah. So, not looking long today. Um, we'll be looking to see. Uh, well, let's make an alert. RSI crossing 30. I think price. No, is it value? I want it to be the hourly. I mean, it really should be price, but if we go to price, it takes the 30 away. So I guess I have to just do value. OKLO is another one. You have this monthly higher low scout after a big pullback. You can look for a weekly bounce here. As you can see, I have the weekly bounce lined up to around $96. And here you have, again, you have this big candle down, trying to find some sort of bounce off of structure here. Clearly structure here. This level specifically, which was this like lower high, higher low, bull move up. So like this level is a level of interest, which, which obviously, you know, exactly where the bottom was set, because a lot of big buying happened on this day, on this candle. Um, so you have this nice doji candle. What do the bulls do with it the next day? Nothing. They actually get battle tested here, right? Just it turns into a really big battle. The bears win the battle, and then the broader market just kind of pulls it up. I think here. I don't know what to think of this. So today is actually a big day. I think if we close green today, I'm going to go long in this name, um, and maybe just put myself underneath the candle, looking to get to the high here, looking to get to the 50-day. I think that makes sense. If we do break lower, I want to see how we react off the 200-day. And this is a very interesting level here too, because you can see that it becomes daily oversold conditions. So I did go over this chart with AI, and you can see I have the weekly inside bar laid out. Weekly inside bar, and I'm using the hourly chart, or actually I was using the 4-hour chart. And we have this range here that is very 1, 2, held here, clear 1, 2, 3, precise. You can't really mistake that for anything. So as long as this holds, I'm not getting rid of this. And essentially what I'd be looking for here, if I'm looking for a bull move, is going to be a break above this level and then a back test. Looking to see some sort of buying pressure, buy here, and then look for some sort of hourly level that had some sort of like sideways action where a lot of trades were shares were traded, and use that as my stop instead of just this rinky dinky 94.50 level. So I will have an alarm set on this weekly high. AMD still struggling. Um, so what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I guess we could look at these charts here. Google is not gapping down. No, where is it? 317. Not gapping down, but at the lows. I have to be careful with trading these names because of wash sales. So I don't know how I'm going to go about and do this one, but I clearly have an hourly level somewhere here. It's right here. I guess it's right here. I don't love it. I don't love it. I'm going to junk it. It's got one touch. This was a bull break, no follow through, and then the break. Yeah, it's not really that clear. It's not really that like, oh, this is definitely a level. So I'm going to ignore that. I mean, this to me looks bullish. It really just does. Like, this looks like. I mean, I'm just going to leave it at that and then see what happens. But if Google's going up, there's a good chance that NVIDIA ends up being weak. This name down 1.5% after having a shitty day. And it's already coming back down. Wow. We ejected off of this high again here. What was this, on Wednesday? And then Friday just kind of, yeah, lower high. And then there's your lower low. Here's your back test. This is the trade I wanted to try. I was trying to make on Tesla, and Nvidia was the one to do it with. But we'll play AMD if that's the case. Tesla down 1.5%. Tesla underneath this level. Had a big move on Friday and then just kind of traded sideways. But yeah, back under this level is interesting. Microsoft here didn't quite get to the value area low and closed over the 9-day. Sorry, the 12, and then closed very strong at the high. So yeah, let's play short. Let's buy a short there. Like, give me a fucking break, man. Amazon bounced off 200 days, still in this weekly range. Not really looking to trade it too much. Meta here pulling back. Again, broke over a big resistance. There's really no resistance until the 200 day, um, and closes at. I mean, look at this candle. I mean, I know there wasn't a lot of volume attached to it, but look at this candle. Complete bull control the whole entire day. So let's buy. Let's buy that. Or sorry, let's short that. We'll short that stock. You just have no chance as retail. No chance. Like, I mean, after it broke this level here, I wouldn't even start scaling in until getting up around here, honestly. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe a scale in here, maybe a scale in at 650. And I mean, like, who knows? But you're really playing with fire. Because at this point, like, what do you expect, a daily high or low, right? So it's like, how much meat on this bone are you thinking about getting? Anywho, down 1.5%. Eating through all of these names. Still holding over this yellow level, though, which I found to be important. As I just had all of this. I mean, this was important too. I mean, all these names were important. This level was important. This level was important. This just had a lot of resistance levels. It was kind of a confusing name to play. The only point that wasn't confusing was this play right here, and I missed it by a few cents. With that glare, baby. PLTR. Gapping down. So yeah, so there you go. I will look at some of these names real fast. I'm going to take NVDA off of this list. BMNR down 7%. Didn't quite get to the no change level. And now sinking fast. Ethereum down 6%, just like Bitcoin. Again, here's your reverse deviation play. And there it is again. If you zoom in to the hourly, maybe, is it going to be present? It's going to be present. So here you go. This is your no change level, right? You get above it. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, it kind of happens here too, right? So this is more of like a head and shoulders bear break. Then you have the top of the structure. You have to get out here. You have to get out here, I would say. At least some. Then you come back up. You have another head and shoulders. Maybe it's better on the 4 hour. As we know with these 24-hour stocks, it's better. So yeah, I mean this one's a little bit better where you have this daily no change level, so you're on the 4 hour because it's a 24-hour stock. You get the bull break, you wait patiently, you get the pullback, and then you wait for the lower high off of this level. This is probably a golden pocket play. It is, so there's a lot of confluence there. Honestly, you can just get in there. Or you could start scaling in maybe if you want, or wait for a wick here. If you wait for a wick here, that's fine. I mean, waiting for this candle to form and then the bear break is also okay. It's just hard to, you just don't always get it so purely, right? Like it's easy to go back and look, but it's not always so clean. So maybe, you see a wick, you get a starter, you keep an eye on it, you get an inside bar, you go the rest in there, and you have your stop above there. You just have to be able to mess around with stuff, not be so hesitant to just put some in and then all in at the same time. I have this weird thing where I feel like I have to get it all in. We talked about OKLO. We talked about AMD. So AMD, we're looking for like the same thing. Again, we're either looking for a play up to around 215 with a wick, and using that um, as a potential level to start looking short, looking to put our stop over 216 ish. And then again, looking to get down to like this node area at least. And if it doesn't quite get there, then again, we're looking for, a break above, a failure type of deal. And then that would be, the stop would be over that level. So next, I like the way next looks. I love this monthly higher low scout, even though monthly lower high is most likely scenario. Weekly looks kind of junky, but I mean, the play is over with already for the most part. Like, you have this clear support level, consolidation. This level to me was the most important because there's kind of like a no change level that we couldn't close over. So this candle rejected from there makes a lot of sense. Then you get the close underneath and then the close back above. Take that and get it back up to the highs. Nice little deviation. As you can see, this one doesn't have the back test though. And if you go to the hourly, look how tricky it gets. It gets kind of funky. UNH, we talked about it. Not in love with it. This stock is just fucking booming. Keeps on going up. Over the 50-day. I mean, silver, there's definitely a euphoric feel in silver. Holy Nikes. So I do think that, like, gold's up 2%. Straight up. Oh, this is silver, sorry. Gold is up 1%. But it was after this big fake out. We talked about it last time. It's after this big old fake out. Higher low, break and retest. Inside bar. I mean, the reaction candle was a good one too. I mean, look at the volume. It was there. I mean, you don't like the wick. But then this candle here was worrisome. This candle here was worrisome. But you get the stop out. You get the quick buying. And then just get like this like weird. I mean, look at this volume on the way up. It's not even that impressive. Like, what in the world is that? That's so strange. So yeah, I mean, this is just back burners, I guess. Looking for first hourly back burner. I mean, you can look for 5-minute as well. Bears won't even let it. I mean, this thing is so strong that the bulls are not even getting 5-minute. Oh, there it is. These are 5-minute oversold, which is also a lower low, no follow through. Lower low, bounce, lower low, bounce. Doesn't get the lower low. So there's your higher low. There's your break of structure. But you see on the 5-minute chart like how gross it gets here, because you get the bull break here with volume, you love it. Then you hit the bear break back below it, so now you're like, oh boy, it's going to be a deviation play. Look, they try for the deviation play. It fails to get back over. They trade sideways. Then they go up. You're feeling really good. You have another thing that looks like a wedge. So you're like, okay, wedge here for sure. We get this vicious bear break, stopping people out because clearly it's not that anymore, right? Then you have this bounce to maybe lure people back in. Then you have the continuation breakdown to the lows here, back down to this little level here. So essentially what it does is it makes good on this level here. So it struggled with this level here, came back down, may go with that level right here, which was the real change in my opinion. And then you get this candle and you get this big candle here. Now the problem with this candle here is that you cannot get into this candle and put your stop here. Like I just don't think that's a very smart idea. So you would ideally want to wait for a pullback here, get in here, but clearly that doesn't happen and it starts just to grind up. But you can make a case that this is institutional buying and this is a big level going forward here. So I would really, and this is on a 5-minute chart, which I don't love, of course, but I think this level here is a big level. And it's no longer a level of interest. For me, it's a level of support. So that means that it gets changed to this one, where it has a yellow, but it has a blue outlier. Can I make this brighter? There we go. So I know it's a 5-minute. So is there any chance that hourly oversold just gets down to there? No, not even close. Like a glove. I could see price coming back down to this level. Doesn't mean I want to short it. That's for goddamn sure. GS Silver's taking off. So we'll keep an eye on silver. Duplicate tab. And we'll keep an eye on the quantum name. So yeah, this is what we're looking at today. So I guess our main thing is just an AMD. That's gonna be our main squeeze. Looking for the hourly lower high. Looking to put our stop around 216.35, unless it does a quick get up to those levels, and then we're looking for the deviation play, which essentially is a failed break and retest. So yeah, all right. Well, that's gonna be it. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. You have a good one. Take care.